Good evening and welcome to the ninth edition of the Rise and Shine webinar. I am live streaming from Blantyre, having come for a funeral of the mother-in-law to my friend, Honorable Patricia Kaliati. So I'm doing it from Blantyre for the first time. I'm doing it away from my technical team. We are connected in the global digital world. So Revelation, my chief technical expert, is in Lilongwe with his team, assisted by Innocent Samuel and Bidon Kono, brilliant young men who do this stuff. And then we also have good news that we have launched mtumbuka.org website. Last week, there was a lot of requests for us to share the PowerPoint. So the brilliant young engineer, Bidon Nkono, supervised by Revelation, Bidon has done the website within a few days and it's live. www.mtumbuka.org. You will find the past webinars, you find the deposits of the presentations, and once we finish this presentation, within 30 minutes, the presentation will be live on www.mtumbuka.org. You will need to register for you to be getting most of the information. So it'll be one way of engaging. But also it means you can go back to the other 8 webinars. So it's really a good repository. So thanks to my team for this. Biton Ngono, just like Innocent Samuel, both of them graduated from Malawi University of Science, Malawi University of Business and Applied Sciences, MUBAS, which formerly is Poly. They graduated last year. So these are young, brilliant minds who have joined my team, and I'm very grateful to have them. Just like Revelation was a very young graduate when he was working with him for 2016, 8 years ago. Right. So we're going to talk Entrepreneurship 101. We all need to know a little bit about business. The reason I say this is because you can either run business as a full-time career, like I do since last year, and we'll talk about that, or even when you work, you need business for a number of reasons, including that who knows, maybe one day you may be found between jobs for a longer time, and what will bring bread at your table for you? So you need it for that. But also, if you look in the current economic terrain, salaries are almost never enough. Almost nobody makes enough money from salary. Very few people are able to make enough money from the salary. You need a top up, and don't expect things to change very soon. So you need business to top up on your earnings. Now let's look at my background in business. Currently, I own and run Wigo Holdings Limited, which is a group of companies that runs a chain of shops, runs a chain of pubs, and we are big into trading and wholesaling, and we employ more than 80 people. 80% of those are young people below the age of 30, and 12 of those are graduates. So we are, helping to contribute towards the employment of Malawians, especially young people. These are some of the clients that I've dealt with in the past, especially from my management consulting firm. I have trained 600 managers from supervisor to CEO at ESCOM. I have trained the management team at Spark Systems over the last 6 months. I have delivered keynote addresses at Institute of Chartered Accountants in Zambia. I have delivered a lot of training and motivational talks and stuff to a number of companies you can see in the slide there. I have helped train the senior officers at Malawi Defense Force twice, and many other brands that I've worked with. So, but in terms of business, this is the group of companies I mentioned. At the bottom there, you can see the management team. Those are the supervisors and managers in my group of companies. 20 young people, and we meet once every month. We have one day where we go to the lake and review our business. But for me to reach here, there were a lot of failures. I failed a lot. A person who is a successful business person is a person who never gave up on many failures and many failures. When I was young, when I was 4 and 5, I used to help my uncle who was an international trader between Malawi and Zambia, and I used to help sell his merchandise in rural areas of Bolero in Rumpi there. So that was my first exposure to business. When I was in secondary school, my classmates and my cohorts remember me as the photographer. In Form 1 up to Form 3, I had a camera at the St. Patrick's Seminary. I think there were four of us who had cameras. The other two are priests. I'm the only one who's not a priest. So we were doing business. We would take photographs, get deposit, send the films to South Africa, photo deans. Within 2 weeks, the photos will be back and I get the extra money. So what used to happen is the deposit was enough money for me to pay to send the stuff to South Africa. When I come, when they take the photos and pay me the rest of the money, that was my profit. In Form 4, I stopped that business because I wanted to concentrate on education so that I can get good grades to go on. When I was at the university, I ran a tuck shop in 4th year, and we made quite good some money there. I was mentored by my friend Mike Muhagama. And then when I went on, when I was studying in the UK, I tried a number of businesses remotely. They didn't work. I tried producing timber, planks in Chikangawa. I lost a lot of money. I tried and tried and tried. I lost some money. I tried having a truck. I lost a lot of money. I tried a taxi. I lost a lot of money. When I came back to Malawi, I pushed the truck business, didn't work. The taxi didn't work. But I never gave up. I lost a lot of money from 2003 to 2015. Then 2015, I started, somebody was selling a pub in Mzuzu, paired up with a friend. From 2015 to 2018, we were losing a lot of money. I never gave up. And around 2018, I started getting it right. So that's it from 2003. But look, I had very time for business. So for some of you, you'd learn faster than I did. Then 2016, 2018, I decided I need to just do a few businesses. There were too many. There were about 8 of them. So I reduced to just 2 of them. Then they started doing well now, little by little. And by 2020, my business was growing now. I was expanding, acquiring more businesses. 2023, it was big enough for me to quit work. And so when in 2023, I was not happy with what was happening, I decided to retire early at 45 and became full-time businessman. And within a few months, my business blossomed big time, and I've never looked back. And it's all because I never gave up. I am a determined person. When I say I'll do this, I stick onto it until it works. So in business, one thing you need is resilience, determination, and the spirit of never giving up. Now, here I'm saying start small. Use your spare time. If you're working, use your spare time to start some business. Could be mandasi, could be saloon, could be barbershop. Anything small, start something small. But don't just copy ideas from other people. Start small in the space that you know well. It's like in war. They say if you want to win a war, fight the battle in the forest you know best. Don't go fight the war in a forest that the enemy knows. You don't know where to hide. You don't know where there are snakes. You don't know where there are rivers. You don't know the danger points and the safe points. Fight the war in your forest that you know best. So in business too, choose a line of business in an area that you're competent, in an industry that you understand. If you don't understand the industry, you can't start business. And then I'm saying focus on 1 or 2 businesses. Like the example I've given you, I was failing and for a number of reasons, but mostly because I was chasing too many things. I was in a hurry. I wanted to just do too many things at once, and I therefore had no focus. So start with one idea. It works well, then you can add another idea. It works well. Right now, I've got the rhythm. I know when to expand, when to add another unit, when to open another branch. So start small, then grow as you learn and pick up. Number 3, avoid partnerships. In Africa, and especially in Malawi, partnerships very, very, very rarely work. Most of the times, it ends in disaster. So go solo. That's my word to you. Go solo. In all the business I'm doing right now, I'm solo. I stopped partnerships more than 5 years ago. I will do that on exception. I'll do that on exception. I know a big businessman in Malawi of Indian origin. He has a lot of businesses. Around 2014, he had partnerships in about 15, 20 businesses. He scaled down to only 3 or 4 businesses. He sold the ones where he was doing partnerships, and he bought shares for some of the places where he wanted to remain alone. And he scaled down to 3 big businesses where he's alone. And from then on, he's never regretted. So be very careful with partnerships. Really do it only on exception and with very clear, defined boundaries. Number 4 is very important. Remember, it takes 5 to 7 years. For some of you who have attended some of the past webinars, I have mentioned this before. It's not the first time I'm mentioning. It takes 5 to 7 years for a business to really fully settle. But look, this is 2024. 5 years will be 2029. Before you realize we'll be there. Look, 5 years ago, 2024, 5 years ago is 2019. It looks like yesterday when we were voting. So if you start a business when we were voting today, you should be very rich. When I'm saying 5 to 7 years, is for you to really get rich and to do really well. This is from my asking a lot of people. I gave an example of mobile money at Airtel, but even Tom Pinganjira. I remember in 2012, Chancellor College invited me and Tom Pinganjira to present motivational talks. And Tom Pinganjira said, I remember very well, he said, when I started the bank, he said, I employed a bank CEO whom I bought a big Benz like the other bank CEOs because he's employed. He said he himself was driving an X-Trail. And I remember he was driving a Nissan X-Trail that time because I was a young head of technical service at Maastricht that time, 2010, 11. And I used to see his car was just as like mine. I was telling myself, I think he deserves a bigger, better car than me, young head of technical services. But in 2012, he bought a Benz, the latest Benz, and he told the Chancellor College students, he said, I bought this Benz outside there now, 7 years after starting the bank. He said it has taken 7 years for the bank to settle. People now know Tom Pinganjira as a big billionaire, very rich Malawian, and somebody to look up to. But it took him 7 years of Kupiria. It took him 7 years of patience, 7 years of waiting. So you have to have the patience. You need to have the long-term view when you're doing business. In the early days, you sweat, you fail, you lose money. But you know Tom Pinganjira did it. He went through a lot, and we'll talk about that later on. And then at the bottom, they have the Enio Kadango's advice. Enio Kadango is one of the celebrated marketing gurus in Malawi. And I was lucky to work with people like Enio Kadango, Maurice Newa. We were all reporting to Dr. Saulos Klaus Chilima, our MD then. And the time Enio Kadango was leaving Airtel, he was that time working in Lilongwe. I was working in Blantyre. He was such a man that I looked up to that I drove from Blantyre to Lilongwe to attend his farewell dinner. And before the dinner, I went to his office, and he told me, he gave me a lot of advice because Enwell, I think, is probably 10 or 12 years older than me. So I look up to him. And one of the things he said was very powerful, which I practiced. He said, Matthews, start business while you have steady income in terms of job salary. He said, because it takes a few years for business to really begin to give you profit. At that time, your salary is paying your rentals, your salary is giving you food, your salary is giving you your travel and transport, your salary is paying fees for your kids if you have kids, your salary is taking care of everything. Therefore, even if the business just breaks even, you can go on like that until the business builds up and starts being profitable. Otherwise, a lot of people wait until they've lost a job or the salary goes down, then they say they're a business. That thinking does not help. Please employ Enio Kadango's thinking. Because when he said that, that was 2012. I started pushing harder on the businesses. 2015, that's when I started picking up little and little. And when last year, 2023, so that's 2012, 2023, 11 years later, I reached a point where I had to quit work, and I was ready because I listened to Enio Kadango. So when I saw that, I think I'm being taken for granted, I think I deserve better, I quit work. And I retired. At that freedom, opportunity, I chose personally to resign and actually retire. You see, when you don't have business or independent income, you become a slave of employment. They'll bully you, they'll kill your soul, and you hang on to something that doesn't help you. You have no freedom. Create your freedom by having independent streams of income. Start business. When you have business, you have the freedom like I did. When things don't go right, you can quit. You say, thank you very much. I think I deserve better. When you do that, you have the better self-esteem, you have self-confidence, and that is the hallmark of success in life, where you believe in yourself. People should not bully you. They should not say you are weak. They should not say you are not successful. You should have the option to say goodbye. You should be able to say thank you, because you know you stand on your own. They should reach, the rule of thumb is this, that when you are working, you should build your business to a level where it gives you at least 30% of your net income, or at best half. If your business gives you 30%, 50% of your salary, you're doing very well, which means that should you at any point have to quit work, it will quickly go to full salary. When I was quitting work, my business was just giving me about 1/4 or 1/3 of my net salary, just that. But within 10 months, I've always said this, within 10 months, my business, was giving me more than the salary I was earning. By 12 months, I was more than double. So remember, when you quit work now, you'll be full-time on your business, and you have nothing else to rely on. Everything is in that basket. So this kind of decision making, you need to be very careful, and you need to manage the transitions properly so that you don't go under. Now, let's look at the definition of entrepreneurship. What is entrepreneurship? Well, entrepreneurship, the word entrepreneur comes from a French word, entrepreneur. I didn't learn French, so forgive me if the pronunciation is not as good. I did Latin, but not French. So which means to undertake. So you undertaking what? You're undertaking risk. You definitely are, but you need to be able to take calculated risk. So entrepreneurship relates to the pursuit of risk and innovative ventures that are capturing new opportunities. So as an entrepreneur, you should always be looking out for good opportunities that you want to capture. And this ranges from, it could be sole projects, which is involving you maybe on part-time basis, or major undertakings that will create a lot of jobs. So like in the beginning myself, I was a sole trader. And now, these are limited companies. I'm employing a lot of people and creating job opportunities. And you could do the same. And these entrepreneurial activities can start small and then become incrementally going up. Or you could have a niche area where you just come in with big bang and disruptive and make big money. Although that is rare. I think I suggest start small. As you're growing, you could now bring in some inorganic growth or disruptive injections of business growth. So now let's look at the forms of innovation in entrepreneurship. The first one is new products. So you have a business, you can add new products. For example, let's imagine you have a shop. There's a range of products that you are selling. And let's imagine you didn't have meat products. So you can say, now I want to expand my business. I have a mini butchery. So you're selling beef, you're selling, I don't know, sausages, meats, and all. In my shops, I started with a butchery already, but the butcher was doing basic meat products. Later on, as we're growing, we said, why don't we make sausages? So I went and bought a sausage maker machine. And then we said, also, why don't we do meats? So we're adding new products there. That way we were expanding. You could do new production method. This, what it means is, remember, you buy or produce. Your cost of having the product might be 100 kwacha. This could be the cost of the factory production. This could be the cost at which you're buying your stuff. And then you're selling at 120 kwacha. It means your margin is 20 kwacha, which is 20%. Now, you can increase your profitability by increasing price, but you are limited by the competition. You put at 30 kwacha, people will move away from you. So you can keep 120 kwacha, but reduce the cost of production so that it's not 100 kwacha, now it's 80 kwacha. It means now we have doubled your profit, because 120 minus 80 is 40 kwacha. You had 20 kwacha, now you have 40 kwacha. Or where you are buying stuff. Let's imagine you have a shop in Lunzu, and you are ordering from a wholesaler within Lunzu there. You are ordering at 80 kwacha. You may do your mathematics and find that this wholesaler actually buys in Blanta at 80 kwacha. You find that when you add your transport, maybe it's 90, then you're getting another 10 kwacha. It means your gain now is the 20 plus 10 is 30 kwacha. So you're looking at the inputs. How can I gain better? Can I do things more efficient and cheaper? Or can I source them from somewhere cheaper? You maybe what you're selling, you need inputs of eggs. Where are you buying the eggs? At how much? How can you buy them cheaper? But also, how are you producing your stuff? Is there a way transport? Can you find cheaper means of transport? So you should always be teasing your value chain in the business to improve the profit margin. You can also increase your business by looking at new markets. So you have a shop at Lunzu, or it is doing extremely well. Then later you say, no, I'll open another shop at Zalewa. So you're going to new markets there. So it's about who are your market? How can you expand that? You should always be questioning yourself. A lot of people have seen the business which can do better by just thinking a little more and expand the market or new forms of organization. So you may restructure your organization. I remember 5-7 years ago, Press Corporation Group Company at head office, there are about 80 staff. Later on, when George Partridge went there, he reduced all that to 30 staff and doing the same work or even better. Of course, there are job losses there, but you would also redeploy the people. So look at your structure. Is it optimal, or we can do a better structure? Now, let's look at how innovativeness of entrepreneurship, entrepreneurs manifest itself. There are 3 ways in which you see that this one is an entrepreneur. Number one, they initiate new ideas. When they have an idea, they just start. I think you've heard this said by many people, that the graveyard is the biggest storage of ideas. Many people have gone to the Lord with their ideas untested. When you have a good idea, start and implement immediately. Kill procrastination. In Malawi, the disease called procrastination is far more widespread than COVID was in 2021. I can tell you, believe this. If there's one thing you need to take away from here, stop procrastinating. Even I sometimes procrastinate, but I really work hard. I hate it when I procrastinate. When you have a good idea, implement. I'll give you an example. Chikondi Stopover at Balaka does extremely well. I don't know now, when I checked 5 years ago in around 2016, so that's 10 years ago, they were killing 20 to 30, they were slaughtering 20 to 25 goats a day. 20 to 25, and those were not even enough, just the goat side alone. So with a friend, Charles Sembazimba, we decided let's do a stopover the stretch of Mzuzu to Lilongwe. There was none. We had architectural designs, what the plans, what everything wanted to put a gender there. We went to gender a number of times. We spent money going there looking for a place, but I think we were looking for the ideal place. There's nothing ideal. Then I remember one time I said, but if we delay somebody, this will open something here. This will now 6 months, 9 months. After about 12 months, in fact, it's my friend, Mr. Chihorom Kandavile. He and his friends opened a stopover there called Platinum. And then we lost that idea because we procrastinated for 1 year. Time is money. Don't procrastinate. You have a good idea, implement it. Don't wait for it to be perfect. Number 2, they search for information. Entrepreneurs are always looking for information. They are always asking about business. Where do people buy water? Where does it come from? Fanta, who is supplying? Everywhere they go, they want to know things. They are always the typical Malawian. I'm sorry to say, the typical Malawian, I'm going to marumas, kujeda. Yes, we have time to have fun and talks, to have fun. Correct. I know that. But we should also be asking for information that helps us to get better. We should also be asking the critical questions that add value to us as business people. We are all born business people. We can all learn. I'm a good example where I know that I was not a natural business person, but through hard work and interest and passion, I've made it in business. So you too can do it. You don't need to be born a businessman. Some maybe perhaps maybe we just say some of them start better, but you can all catch up and overtake and even do really good. Number 3, they translate ideas and information into business venture. People will say, no. And experience practical what? No. I mean, it doesn't mean that when you have a lot of information, then you can't do business. Actually, the more knowledge you have, the better business person you can be. If you go down on the ground and go in the trenches and get your hands dirty. So the theory that a lot of people who have knowledge and are not practical is true in as so far as the general observation is. But it does not mean that when you have a lot of information, you cannot be. No, it just says a lot of people have a lot of information, don't come down to get hands dirty and make the money. But you get your hands dirty. I got the hands dirty. I don't hide. The breakthrough was when I was running pubs. I don't hide. But now I'm doing very, very big things. But when I start running a pub, people are like, an educated person running a pub. But I'm not ashamed of it. I mean, from there, I'm doing well. Now, you see, that's the problem. You're educated, you have a degree, and you don't want to push a wheelbarrow. You don't want a business that involves mud. You don't want a business that involves dust. Stay like that. You will not make money. You got to just be practical and be realistic, delve into it. Later on, you will rejoice. And the same people who you were afraid that they'll be ridiculing you are the very same people who ridicule you if you don't do well because you're avoiding mud. Or it's the same people who clap hands when you do very well tomorrow. So, a lot of people are limited by perception. What do people say? What do people... Don't worry. Focus on your game. We've said this before, time and over again. Now, who are entrepreneurs? These are people who have ambition, drive, and courage. So measure yourself. How big is your ambition? How much drive do you have? Do you have the courage to break? Things will not always go as planned. Sometimes things will go wrong, but it's all right. It's okay. Especially when you start young. Start as young as possible. Don't wait until you retire, then you're going to Registrar General's office to register business. Of course, it's never too late, but that is a bit late, So you want to start it as early as you can. Now, some of these three I've mentioned already. The three special features of entrepreneurs. These are people who persevere. They don't give in to problems. When they see a problem, they want to solve that problem. They face the challenge with resolve to defeat the problem. They say, bring it on. For me, in business these days, if I face a big problem, I just say, okay, it's one of them. I'm ready for them. Mentally, I'm ready for the problems. Mental management in anything we do in life is very important. The moment we think life will just be easy all the time, if you're driving to Chitipa or I don't know, Sanje, wherever, if you go off the main road, expect that you may have tire puncture, you may have a breakdown in your mind. When that happens, you'll be like, oh, right, so we need to solve this problem. But if you think that I'll reach without any problem, when the problem happens, it will hit you hard. So in business too, and be inquisitive. We mentioned already, gather information. Above and beyond us just chatting what is happening in politics and what is happening on day-to-day basis, others are what critical questions are we asking and getting the information that adds value to us as entrepreneurs or as students of business. Remove mental blocks. People tell you mental blocks. People tell you, simungate my business ambira, amagwanao, my business amagudiela, amagubela. That's the normal chat. But people who are making the money, they don't go by that chat. They don't go by the chat. That chat. It's same as I'll tell you. I'm sorry, this is hard truth. But in my life, people keep complaining, government is not working. Meanwhile, business people are making money. Come with good government, they're making money. A bad government, they're making money. This is really just observe, especially our friends, the Malayans of in Indian origin. They will complain with you, but the business is going in their mind. It starts with the mind. What do you tell your mind? What do you tell your mind to believe? You tell your mind, I'll fail. You fail. When I do motivational talks, I like joking to say, people say, I said, yeah, we solve and we move on. Meanwhile, while there are problems, life goes on. Don't be the headquarters of problems. Don't be the headquarters of Madando. Move on. Tell your mind positive things, then you will excel. Now, I want to share with you some of the anecdotes from some of the people who have inspired me in business. So, you going back to 2009, 2010, when I was working at Masswitch before I joined Airtel, from that time, I was saying, once my business makes half the money, I'll quit. Unfortunately, my career was moving. Each time I'm earning 100 kwacha, I want to make 50 kwacha, then I quit. Then I'll find that after 2-3 years, my salary goes up, maybe it's 200 kwacha. Then now I need to make 100 kwacha. I was not catching up because the career was moving fast, unfortunately. Because when your salary doubles, you change your lifestyle. You buy a bigger car, which guzzles more fuel. You change your location. You were in Chilomoni, now you move to Chinyonga. You're paying double the rent. Unfortunately, some people are able to control that. Many of us fail. So that is your homework. But I was talking to people already that time who had done well in business to learn lessons. And I want to share some of those lessons because I learned them in 2009, 2010, and I've been applying them and they're working now. Frank Chapita Tembo, don't be Madando headquarters. Exactly. Yeah, thank you very much. So I want to share examples from a couple of people here. On the top right there, you will see the man in the tie there. Let me just give me 1 minute. I should plug my power. Laptop is going down. I think we're good now. Let me just verify. We're good. I needed to be sure that we're power. Yeah, so on the top right there, the man in the necktie is Nigel Chanakira. Nigel Chanakira owned Kingdom Bank in Zimbabwe. He was the bank partner for Tom Pinganjira when he was starting FDH Bank. And I booked an appointment with him and said, I would like to meet you. I was a young man, 2012. I was 33, 34 years of age. I said, you own a bank, you're a billionaire, and what? I want to learn from you. So, this is like March, and he gave me a date in October, 6 months to go. He said, on such a date, come to Rio's Hotel, 21 degree, we'll have dinner at 7 p.m. 6 months I waited. I went there at the exact time he mentioned, and the man was there. So number one, these people are very organized. And he told me his story, but he told me lots of his story. But he told me when he was young, he promised his mom, don't worry, you're poor, but when I grow up, I'll own a bank and your problems will go. And he owned the bank. So what he was telling me is that you start with your vision and must believe, and you must dream really big. Your dream must scare you. So in business, go there big. Same with my friend Dr. Rex Harawa in the middle there in his bow tie. I met him 2012 thereabouts. I had lunch with him at Mamma Mia. And I said, tell me, because he owns AMG Global. I said, how can I, what shall I do? He told me a couple of things. The man he said is, when you want to start business, you must believe like mad. You must believe like a madman. I said, what do you mean? He said, because starting business, you need a lot of courage. It scares you. You're afraid. So you must believe like a madman that there's nothing but that this will work. So he says it's like madness. And he said, because that madness, you don't tell your mother. I said, why not? He said, mothers will not allow you to start business. You tell them once his business has taken off. And actually, he was right, because last year when I left work, I was doing business. My mother kept worrying for a good 1 year. It took 1 year for my mother to be convinced that I did the right thing. So but he had prepared me. But, when Rex left work, to Rex Harawa, and started his business, he got rental for office space of 70 people, but he had 12 people only. And he paid rent for 6 months. At 3 months, the landlady came and said, I want to pay you back some of the money, and can we reduce the amount of space you got, because I see you're just using a small fraction of this. He said, no, keep it. He said, why? He said, I want to fill all these offices by the end of the year. So I want to be seeing empty offices where I paid the money already. It should pain me. He was beating me like mad by paying already for office capacity of 70 people when he had only 12 people. By 10 months, 6 to 10 months, he filled all that space because he believed like mad. Because he already, even I, when I was starting business, I copied his idea. At my head office, I created much more space than the people I employed, so that I can pay me and I can be filling that space. And now we're getting to being full now. So I copied this idea. And then if you go down there, you have Tom Angel have shared the story of the 7 years. And then in the middle there is John McCain. He's a fellow Rhodes Scholar. This guy is $1 billion. This picture was taken 2013 when Rhodes Scholarship was celebrating 110 years. I went to the UK, Oxford, to celebrate with colleagues. There were 1,000 people there. He's the richest Rhodes Scholar. This guy, I've never met a billionaire bigger than this man. At least I took a photo with a billionaire. Now, this guy, he presented to us all about business. And I remember very well, his presentation started with his failures. There were 34 failures before he became a good businessman. A lot of us failed 3 times and give up. Some reached 9 times and give up. He failed 34 times. So if you think you are bad because you have failed 16 times, you're not that bad. This billionaire failed much more than you. On the far left is my friend, I'll just say John, in the UK. He's been my friend since 2003 when I taught his daughter mathematics in the UK. So since then we've remained friends. And each time I go to the UK, I go to his house, and he's into property. And he's showed me property. What I've learned from him for sharing, I'll limit it. But all I say is that business people, they see opportunity where we don't see. He is able to buy a building. He knows that this one is undervalued. So he knows the value of this should be 100 million, but it's actually being sold at 60 million. You pump in 10 million kwacha, and then the real value become 150 million. And then he maybe can start and pay off the loan, or put rental people, they pay back the mortgage. So by just playing with simple arithmetic, I will not even call mathematics, simple arithmetic of properties, the guy is making big money. I don't want to go into detail, but just giving a glimpse of this. The takeaway home point here is that we mentioned entrepreneurs are inquisitive. Entrepreneurs get information. They use information, turn to ideas, and implement. They do not procrastinate. Let us not procrastinate. Then we will become good business people. Now, let's look at some of the characteristics of entrepreneurs. I'll run a bit fast on these ones. Ande Nzunda, great presentation. Ndiponde jani mapresentation azibwera bwera. All right. Chake Banda, yeah, thank you for your comment. Business people see option where there is the what. Thank you. So characteristics of entrepreneurs. Number one, they have an eye for opportunity. Friends, when you walk in Limbi, in Kawale, also be looking at what you can do. Be looking for opportunity. We start by looking at problems. What are the problems in your community? Those are opportunities for business. Anthu akumapita mtown kuti akapeze saluni. Mwinaso iweso ndi mmodzi wa amene amakwera mini basi kupita mtown ku saluni, kulibe saluni kwanuko. That's an opportunity. Any problem is an opportunity for business. We'll talk about that later, some of the examples for me. Number two, they're independent. You need to have a mind that is independent. If you're a beggar, any small thing you want to beg, you can't be a businessman. Any small little thing you want to beg. I always give this, people who have worked with me, they know my butter shoe story. I am never ashamed of it. You know, when I got selected to go to university in 1997, my dad had just retired as a primary school teacher. He retired 5 years earlier because of ill health. My mom had just been promoted as a head mistress at primary school. So I'm going to university. Dad is retired, very little money. My mom, head teacher. My brother was at that time, I think, Form 4, another brother Form 1. They have to pay all these fees. We were struggling. And I'm going to university. I told my dad, I said, please just give me money to buy a butter shoe, black one, which is strong, can last 3 years. I have one shoe, but the butter and strong. I said, so that we don't have any problem. At least I have a shoe, then I'm fine. And I said to them, don't go beg money to educate me. Don't borrow money to educate me. If you don't have money, tell me. If no money, will find a way. In my mind was, I have 5 years in university to struggle. After that, that paper will help me. You know, it's that mind, the mind of saying, I will thrive through. I will not beg. I'd rather suffer until I get mine. You know, people who are entitled, people who beg, they never work, because then you beg, people give you, they help you. We have no reason to work hard. When I went to university, I was angry in a positive way. I wanted to really do well because I had one shoe. I wanted to have many pairs of shoes, and the game worked. So you in business, you need to have the independence. Do you have the independence? Do you have the independence in your mind to be self-sustaining? I did well in business because although I had a good job, I have had very good jobs, but I knew that these jobs are not mine. So I was building my businesses. So when I was not happy with the environment, I said, thank you, goodbye. I chose to quit. I chose to quit, and I said, goodbye, thank you very much. So it gives you independence. When you have independence, you have independence. Nobody owns you. You can always decide. You have options in life. Number three, appetite for hard work. So entrepreneurs work really hard. You know, wagwira ntchito mpaka 5 o'clock koma kupita ku Mulanje Mountain, I don't know, breaking those rocks and selling them to contractors. Ubwera koma 10 p.m. mama kuzuka suka unusa anyamata upanga bunch ma 5 a.m. That's entrepreneur. They'll tell you behind every successful entrepreneur or business person, there is there's sleepless nights, a lot of them. But when things work, they can now employ people, sit back a little, and but the moments when they have to really work hard. Now, number 4, self-confidence. They have self-confidence. They are not afraid. They have the discipline, how they spend money, because they know every money they need for the business. They have the right judgment. I can do this, I can't do this one. They have the ability to accept change. You must accept change. Things have moved on. We're no longer now doing paper. Paper-based things. Now it's digital. You accept all those things. In business, you move on. There's a gentleman who supplies newspapers to me over the last 10 years. Been supplying. I've told him, gentleman, supply of newspapers is now going down. People are going online. Nation data times are going online. Let's think of something you do differently. So after discussing, we've agreed he'll be doing business here at Toba. Yes, Toba. There's more money in him selling Toba than newspapers. So we've agreed I'll give him capital. He needs cooler boxes and things and what. So he's moving into selling Toba and defreezes. Yeah, the newspaper man becomes the Toba seller. He's moving because change has come. There'll be less and less people buying newspaper. That's the reality. Watsala. Number 8, managing stress. Business will stress you. Time comes for you to pay. Are you able to pay? Do you have the money? You have stress, but you will still manage. Don't worry. need to achieve. They have the need to achieve. They want to achieve all the time. Yes, we are not giving up. Mary Kanyanga, thank you very much. Very inspiring, Jeremiah Piri, and I'll book a face-to-face meeting. Oh, yeah. Face-to-face meeting and Wig Holdings, most welcome, Jeremiah. They have the need to achieve. They focus on profits. They really guard, make sure that they make profit. They take risk. They risk. You know, there are times when I take a move, people say, "How come his mini zoopia, Johnny? What?" I just switch off. I've said this before. Okay, if they're giving you ideas to say, okay, but mind that is helping. Come, they are condemning he zoopia, mwana afuna kale truck driver. He uzipita South Africa, kumile kumakhala ngozi what and rambili mbili abanga retire and truck driver. Man, you have a lot of people who disappoint you, they will frustrate you. You know, they should tell you, Mukaka truck driver, Zabunos Menezo, make sure you're a defensive driver. When you're on long trips, Mugatopa, Muzipuma, Grimsakandi fatigue, that one is helping. Bridge, there's a lot of people who do that, but that stops you from success. Every big move you want to take, there'll be a lot of people who be afraid. When people are giving you advice, I've said this, when they're giving you advice, they're taking it in the space. Truck drivers, then they project on you, so which is not correct. Risk bearing, locus of control, shaping destiny. It's about what do I want to be. Maybe this is what God wanted me to be, because we were all created with a purpose. Is this your purpose? Are you seeking to achieve your purpose? They are creative, they're innovative, they have leadership. Without leadership, you cannot be an entrepreneur. So factors to consider when you're setting up business. Yeah, do you have a good idea? Do you have the skills to manage the business? If you don't have, you can employ somebody. Robert Matenje, this is encouraging a lot of people afraid. Yeah, thank you very much. Let's sleep more ideas. Thank you, Anthony Bandambanda. Yeah, you need to, what's your market? Where are you going to sell your products? You need to think about capital. What capital you need? So these slides will be on my website, www.mtumbuka.org. You register and then you get the slide. So like this slide, you really need it when you're setting business. This will be like checklist. What technology do you need? Number 5, the machinery. What about the raw materials? Where will you get from? You have to start a sugar company and put in Karonga, and yet the sugar canes are in Duangwa. You have a problem there. The factory needs to be close to where the raw materials are. Location. If it is a shop, you want to put it where there are a lot of people passing by. Yeah. Legal issues, you need to register the company, MRA, all that. You need to know what are the legal things that I need to comply with. Mara Bureau of Standards. When I was starting the shop at first, I forgot about Mara Bureau of Standards. So we opened the shop on Monday. Wednesday they came, but they were nice people. They said, no. For the butcher, the wall needs to be white. So we had painted it red. We didn't know. So we got the paint white now. He painted white. They said, where's the toilet? We said, well, toilet here for staff. They said, no. Butcher, the people need to have their own toilet. Oh my goodness. That cost a lot of money. We hadn't planned for that. But they were nice people. They gave us some time to do that. I like Mara Bureau Standards. They give you time to do that. I'm sorry, but MRA normally don't give you time. They say, punishment, penalty. Please, MRA, I beg. People fail to do business because of MRA. Please, MRA, listen to my cries. MRA, I cry. Now I'm crying here. They want to punish me as well. Don't be nice. This is our country. MRA, please. Many are good there, but there are all these other ones. Please, I'm sharing about business here. One big problem you face, business people, is MRA. You start a shop on Monday, Tuesday, they come there, they want to lock it. No, teach him or her, please, MRA. Let's work together. Just advise us. Tell them do this tomorrow. Remote. Yeah. No, I'm sorry, but we need mindset change at every level. We cannot be having this webinar here and then some people don't change. When you start business, it's just starting to grow. Some MRI, not all of them. Some of them will be the biggest pain you have. They don't want you to sleep. They want to find ways that even the little profit you make, it doesn't even go to government sometimes. It goes in their pockets. They're buying vehicles and things. I'm sorry, I condemn that. Because then people will not do business. And I'm sorry, I'm saying this now, somebody will try to do it. No, I am on MRA, I'm clean. I follow everything. Where there's more gap, advise me. If I don't know, just advise me, I'll fix it. But I pay PE, I pay returns, I do reports and what. But you still want to look for something. One time in my shop, They have the receipts. They wrote a receipt for three customers. One receipt. If you want to put a payment of 1 million, just tell him write one receipt for per person. It's simple. Yeah. Location, legal issues, competition, value adding, very important, very important, value adding services. So, for example, if you look at banks, what they do is that banks make money from interest on loans. That's their core business. But then, when you look at the bank financial statement published in the newspaper, you will see they will put non-interest income. Non-interest income. They have interest income, that's the core business. The non-interest income. Banks want, generally, this is the rule of thumb world over, that the non-interest income should pay most of the expenses. So the interest income becomes their profit. So the non-interest income will be income which is not from interest. So when you're applying for a loan, they are using their time, they'll charge for that, of course. The ledger, the ATM is nothing to do with interest, but they bought the machine, they've invested in to make money from there. So then all these different services, Forex, they have a bureau and all these what. Then, so now at Airtel do the same. We had what we call value adding services. So these were the SMS, because the core business in mobile phone is for you to make a voice call. That's core business. SMS is not a core business. That's a value-adding service. Airtel Money, value-adding services. Mabandru, value-adding services. So they made sure that these bundles, SMS, Airtel Money, and all these things, they make enough money that they're able to pay most of their costs. So what do? We have a pub, I have a pool table. A pool table, if you do well, you have 2-3 pool tables, they'll pay maybe half, 3/4 of your rent. At the same barber shop as somebody's drinking, they can go there and have a haircut. So have a barber shop, and you put barber shop, pool. You pay most of the expensive water bills. So when you have business, even at the shop, I have ice cream. I have kids play. The kids come and play. And they pay some money. I have a car wash behind. So you're coming to shop, your car is being washed, and you're paying some money there. You're buying ice cream. These things put together: car wash, ice cream, the kids play, whatever. They pay the bills and they pay the rental and all that. So any business you're doing, ask yourself, what's the value-adding service I can do here? What's the value-adding service I can do here? Something that is outside the business. You have a salon. What other things can you do that have nothing to do with the salon, but they're related? You can use the same space. There'll be no additional rent, no additional water bill, no additional electricity bill. It's 23:08. I will now wind up in the next 10 minutes of kind of question and answer. Practical consideration. This is a very important slide. Ashanti, I would have missed such an insightful presentation. Thank you, Ashanti. Insightful, I'm following. Wisdom Kumwenda. Dadrai, great presentation, definitely learning a lot. Thank you. Correct on my bureau standards, very helpful. Big up, MBS. Grace Helen, thanks for agreeing with me. Right, so number one, trust process more than people. You must have processes that protect your money, processes that protect your products. I have invested a lot I stay in Lilongwe. My business across the country, Mzuzu, Mzimba, Salima, all over, but I stay in Lilongwe because I have these processes which protect my business. I have processes, I have auditors, I have who else do I have? I have the auditors, I have the accountants, and these are young graduates. They're doing a splendid job wherever you are, my accountants and auditors. So there are people who operate. Then the auditor comes and checks every time. And then there is an accountant who is also putting in controls. You cannot be a shop manager and then you go and buy Katundu Baweka. No, you are a shop manager. The accountant, you tell them what you want to buy, I give the money to the accountant goes and buys together with you. You sign certain documents, the auditor comes and checks. So how do you still? It's difficult, and then the general manager also checks. So I have these very intricate process. I just go there once in a month, 10 minutes just to check around. The process are working for me. Number two, don't employ relatives. Please don't. Relatives are the biggest thieves. They know you cannot arrest them. They don't work hard most of them. I'm sorry, most of them I've tried this. Out of the 8 employees, I only have 2 employees, and these are the special people. Only 2. Normally, I don't do, but these ones are very, very special. These are special ones. So we say to every rule, there's an exception. So relatives will not work hard. Relatives will bring in bad attitude. They will just destroy the team. And they know if they steal, the village headman and your uncles and aunties will come to your house and say, no, release him, what. I'm not saying, if somebody steals 2 million, you have to arrest them. You have no choice, because if you don't, the other one will also steal tomorrow. The other one, your business is gone. So that's why number 3, I'm saying be brutal where necessary. In my business, very simple. Rules are very simple. If you still up to half the salary, go and bring the money. If you still above half salary, you are fired immediately. That's our policy. If you still a significant amount of money, like $500,000, 1 million, it's a police case, not my issue. The police will deal with that case. So there are 3 levels. Below half the salary of a month, pay back. Above half the salary, you're fired. If it is big, like 1 million and above, it's a police case, not me. So be brutal sometimes. Otherwise, so when you do that, people know they behave. When they know there's no consequence, my friend, they will steal from you every day, every hour. Number 4, follow the money. Every tambala, they must know that you follow every tambala. Number 5, count the stocks as frequent as you can. Your business, your stock. Are you sure the stock is there all the time? For me, I'll share this one. If you go to my shops, I give them lunch. Every Monday, they're given a budget for lunch. They have a lunch committee. They have a good menu for the week. So the lunch we provide. Every month we do stock taking. The rule is, if the stock taking shows a loss of more than 50,000 kwacha, we suspend lunch until the next stock taking. So they have to behave. It's simple. And once or twice a year, they miss out lunch. It's simple, because the lunch is not part of salary. You've eaten my money already, so why should I give you lunch? I'm a businessman. All sales must be banked. This is very important. Number 6. If you tell them, you have this business, when you sell tomorrow, you can tell me how much money you have spent. They'll find 20 reasons. I bought soap, 2,000 kwacha. I paid Yama gas, 3,000 kwacha. Grasilina sweka, Bularina makuti, transport makuti. They will explain, and Malawians are very good at explaining how they have spent 100,000 kwacha. You saw 300,000, 100,000 is spent on Monday. Tuesday, you said 200, 80,000 is spent. They will spend. So the rule is very simple. When you're doing business, all the money must be banked. All the money, all of it. Then they must request to you what they want, and you must give that. It's a separate process. The money also, all that money must be put in the account. You will see, if they are deducting from the source, they'll be deducting, say, 100,000 every day. When you say bank the money, I will say make a request to me. They will not request you with lies. They will request maybe 7,000. It's literally that difference. It's like 8 times, 10 times. Do not allow your workers to take money from the sales. All the money must come to you, probably in the bank or in your hands. Then they must request what they want. So that's all sales must be banked. Monitor net working capital, maybe for your reference. So you want to know basically how much money is in your business. That's the cash at the bank, cash at hand, and the stocks. All that together, that's your working capital. So let's imagine it's 200,000. Every day, that equation of the stock value plus the cash at hand plus cash at bank and all this, of course, we'll subtract the money or the suppliers and what. So that equation, accountants will go in detail. In simple terms, that's what we're saying. That money, if you're making profit, if you're on 1 September it's 20,000. As you're selling, you're making some profit, and the profit should be more than your expenses. So tomorrow should be 210, 220, should be growing. But if it dips to 190, then there's a problem. Why is it going now? So I don't do much. I monitor every day. I monitor my net working capital. How much is my net working? When it goes down, I want to know why is it going. It must be, the graph must be going up, and that's why these young people like Innocent, they're doing all these analysis every day, and the graphs where there's dip, we check. Monitor net working capital, make a checker framework. I've mentioned where you have the auditor, somebody does the work, somebody checks, somebody audits. Employ fresh and experienced people. Yeah, very, very important. In most businesses, and that's why you need the special skill. If you don't need special skill, train people, fresh people, they are learning the good things that you are training them. You will not teach them how to steal. But when you get somebody who's very experienced, 10 years experience in a shop, they also know how to steal. And this is from my experience. Get fresh people and train them. Most of this is simple business we do. Even a salon, there will be a young lady who is very good at salon but has never been employed. Look for that one. You could start with somebody experienced just for start, but they'll be stealing half the money. I know this. I don't employ experienced people. I train them. And it works. Get into the trenches. Number 10, very important. Get dirty. Select the right people. At the end is the kind and quality of people that you have. Now, this one is very important. The 7 P's of marketing, I'll rush through because this you can get from your business courses. Number 1 is product. What product are you going to sell? Is it of value? Is it attractive? Price. Constantly check your price. How are you pricing? How do you compare with the competition? Yeah, please. Hello, please. Of you online, please confirm that you can see me. Confirm online, you can see me. Yes. Yeah, you can see me online. Yeah. Yeah, I will not finish with the last slide. So it's really the summary. Generate a good business idea. Gather as much information as possible. Quickly decide and implement. Persevere to the end. Think of the 7 P's. Count every tambala. Where possible, team up with others, but avoid partnerships. And the control leakage and theft. And the evolve with time, as well as discipline is everything. If you do this, you're bound to do well in business. And now we can take questions. If there are any questions, let's have 10 minutes of questions. We had a glitch, but that happens. As I said earlier on, when we have problems in business, we solve them and we move on. We want to be positive energy people. So let's do questions. Any questions? We'll do 10 minutes of question and answer. Thank you for those that are confirming. Moses Chavula and others, Tembi and Tandy. Questions? Live from Chinji. Evans Kako, thank you. I won't hesitate to take calculated risk in business. Thank you, Richard Msisia. Yes, please don't hesitate. Last week we got a testimony. One has already registered an NGO because of the Rise and Shine forums that we do here. So I like that. Please, Richard, do the same. Do something. Why do Burundis do well with business than Malawi? Simbi Lewis, good question. The Burundians do well more than us because, number one, they take the risk, as mentioned by Richard Msisia. Number two, they have the discipline. Most of the money they make, they put back in the business. If they take loan is for business. In Malawi, when somebody takes a loan, the first thing they do is go and buy a car so that the neighbor can shine. So they take the risk, number one. Number two, they work hard. You see, they open their shop early in the morning and close very late. They're working hard. We talked about working hard when you're a businessman. And then they put the money back in the business. They're looking at the long term. For us, some people don't even calculate the profit. They just eat all the money. How can we take the risk in business? All right, I'll look at that. Question: when are you planning to organize another forum like this one? Good question. We normally do this once a week, so we'll communicate to you via my Facebook page. Please like it, and then you'll be getting all the information. Blessings, you say I'm Romodo, thank you. And then I think we'll wind up at this. There's one question from Robert Chirambo as the last one. How do you really manage all the businesses you have on top of your official duties? Well, I mentioned that at first I was doing them on a part-time basis. And then when they grew in good size, I left business to grow the business bigger. So I stopped working. I am now a full-time businessman. So it reaches the point when you have now to be full-time if you can. Kisa, thank you so much watching from Bombela. I think we'll stop at this. Thank you very much, everybody, for being with us. Do be there again next week. We will communicate the date and time for this. Otherwise, I'd like to thank you for your time. And in a very special way, I'd like to thank my technical team led by Revelation Yirongo, who has done a wonderful job. Innocent Samuel, always there as my executive assistant, and the young man Biton Ngono, who has developed the website www.mtumbuka.org. Please log in, register, and you get all the past webinars as well as the deposit of the slides. Good luck, and do be there again next week. Thank you. Rise and shine.